Hey! You! Listening to this podcast right now! Do you want to hear a fucking podcast about anything and everything? Yeah. Like movies, music, television, and more?
Oh my god.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Yes.
Subscribe to Journey into Comics Network, and you get Podcastrophe, hosted by me, Dick. Why not throw a couple bucks to the Patreon? It's your choice. Yeah. This is a Podcastrophe.
That sounds so awesome.
The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
This is a tasty burger.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I? Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Is butter a carb? Will you stop eating?
We elves try to stick to the 4 main food groups. Candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Foodies Watching Movies. It's episode 21, in fact, of season 2. I am your host, Veronica, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Nate. How's it going?
It's good. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm very full. I'm ready to discuss some stuff. We've got some special guests this evening. Tonight we are hanging out with my mom and her friend David. This is my mom, Josette, and David.
We're really excited to be here tonight on this fabulous podcast.
Well, good. I'm glad to have you.
Yeah.
I talk about you enough on here, you know.
I know. I heard about the whole Children of the Corn episode.
I remember
where
that,
I totally got slammed.
I didn't know you were going to listen to that one.
Yeah, I'm glad I did. Now I know how you really feel about your childhood, Veronica.
That you traumatized me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you can accept that it happened and we can move on.
We can move on.
Okay, great.
So,
Maybe.
David Lee, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Glad to be here.
That's great. I'm glad to have you on, man. Have you guys seen anything cool recently in the theaters?
We've seen something uncool.
Oh, uncool. We like hearing about uncool
Please
stuff.
do tell, because I know somebody else who also saw this movie that you're about to talk about that was really jazzed to see this movie. And I'm curious to see what she thought about it, too.
Yeah,
she's our co-host, Lauren.
Yeah, shout out to Lauren.
I think the big thing is how uncool this movie actually was. It was called Hereditary.
Mm-hmm. Hereditary.
Yes.
Lauren was talking to us about how she wanted to see this movie when it came out. I said I had no interest in seeing it because I really don't know what it's about. Do you want to enlighten me?
I believe, according to the tomato meter, it had a 98% approval. We're the 2%.
Wow.
What about it didn't you like?
Excited. We were looking forward to this movie. I think we were like a level 10 excited to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I really was, because I love witch movies and I love horror movies.
And this is supposed to be a scary movie, right?
Oh, yeah. It was supposed to be scary. I had just read an article on Facebook that it was one of the most terrifying movies, and so I was really excited to go see it.
Okay. Well, you really like scary movies. I, however, like old scary movies that aren't really scary. You know, I like the cheese factor, but things like ghost movies and witch movies and stuff that might be plausible just kind of freak me out.
Right.
I think Deadpool 2 was a bit scarier than this.
Wow. Okay.
That bad, huh?
So,
Yeah.
so.
It's weird because I think that people said this movie was like, ultimate scare and whatnot. You said it was suspense, but it doesn't really have the payoff. Is kind of,
You want to answer that? So
you can get full into spoilers. It's cool.
So here's the
spoil it away.
Here's the 3 parts of this movie. One is the suspense. The second is the plot, and then the third would be the family dynamics. And the suspense part of it was actually okay, but it was a slow burner, and there was this anticipation that something was going to happen. The first half of the movie is leading up to. I guess we were waiting, and it would have a little bit of jump scares and things like that. So in terms of creating an eerie tone, they kind of maintained this eerie tone throughout the whole thing, which they actually did a pretty good job on. The thing that really knocked it, I think that really made it really good, was the family dynamics. It had a very dysfunctional family dynamic. But by the time
That
it's
you
all
liked.
done, yeah, you kind of liked it, how they interacted and how they kind of bashed each other, and
Like
the mom tried to kill.
like Roseanne dysfunctional, or
A little bit worse.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it was
A little bit worse.
A little bit worse than
It
that.
was a little bit worse because the mom actually, inherited this witchery from her mother. She didn't know she had inherited it, and she would sleepwalk. And so the dysfunction came in where she sleptwalked and tried to light her children on fire with lighter fluid.
So you
So this
throw.
is not a movie for me.
No, it's actually they threw that in the middle of it. They I can't believe you tried to kill me in my sleep and cover me in gasoline and light me on
Sure,
fire.
sure, as
I'll
one
never
would.
be able to trust you. And they introduced that as one of the big riffs in this family, but it served no point really in the whole plot.
Yeah.
So
Like-
she's just an awful person that has this problem.
No, she's kind of nuts. She's
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit crazy, perhaps, but even that had nothing to do with the witchcraft theme. So what
Oh.
they did is they decided to throw in about 3 or 4 unrelated elements that created an eeriness to it, but there was no payoff. There was no connection whatsoever,
Right.
really, on the I'm going to go light my son on fire aspect while sleepwalking.
So
Like
it's
they
just
never
giving
really
witches
addressed
a
that.
bad name.
It was just kind of yeah.
Okay, let me just sum it up. Say like I spent an hour making pancakes, and you were watching me make pancakes, and you were anticipating the pancakes, and the whole time you could smell them, and you knew they were going to be good. And by the time they got done, like an hour later, I took the pancakes and flipped them over and dropped them on the floor, and then told you that the 8th king of hell is responsible, and then just go downstairs. That's the movie.
Wow. That sounds awful.
I
So they
know.
just like write it off into the sunset.
That's
this
how
is the
I
reason.
felt. There was nothing really was congruent. It was stupid. Honest to God.
sucks.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this. So imagine if you're watching.
But it was like my pancakes.
Imagine if you're watching The Shining, right? And The Shining's a pretty good movie.
The
And
Shining's
imagine
one of
if
my
right
favorites.
smack dab in the middle of it, Jack Nicholson tells a story of when he was a little kid and I got attacked by dogs and he almost died. And it was this big moment in his life. And it had nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
It was smack dab in the middle of it. And you're wondering, what the heck does that have to do with
Right,
anything? There
right.
were little pieces like that kind of threw the whole thing.
Do you think they were just trying too hard?
What they were trying to do is adding these eerie elements. For example, there was another part where the mom designs little doll houses. She's an artist, and she designs these really detailed little art things. So throughout the whole thing, she's trying to get this ready for some display.
I believe it's called assemblage.
So it actually was kind of interesting seeing her paint, and she would paint her mother and paint the kids exact replicas of her own home.
Because that's not creepy at all.
Well, it looked creepy, but
or
it had
witchery at all.
Well, but that has nothing to do with the whole movie.
It doesn't have anything.
There's nothing to do. The
Right.
things
So they're just trying to create an atmosphere, and there's no payoff.
they were creating an
Right.
atmosphere.
That
Another
sucks.
example.
Amateur.
So the youngest daughter gets decapitated by the son. Why? Because
Early on.
Early on. He's
Great.
driving
Okay.
while smoking weed.
Which was a
and
cool scene because you literally see her smash her face into a telephone pole.
she gets
That's
decapitated.
awful.
So fast forward a
I
half
have
an
no need to see that at all.
So fast forward a half an hour later, she's designing a diorama, an exact replica of the telephone pole and the car and her daughter getting decapitated.
Jesus.
And the husband is like, "Why are you doing that?" And she's like, "Because it's art." Now, what does that have to do? It introduces this weird, creepy. Why is the mother doing this?
Right.
There's no reason the mother is doing it.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the
Other
entire
than the fact
plot.
that she has psychological
Apparently.
issues.
So they added this kind of mental illness, weirdness component combined with this a coven basically that had been manipulating this family to try to get some big payoff at the end.
And there was no
So-
payoff.
No, it's like taking an old 1960s Karen Black movie, which where the coven is manipulating the girl or the sorority girl or the lone girl or whatever it is, and in the end, surprise, big reveal, the big coven reveals itself and they're worshiping Satan or whatever it is. So
Right,
that's basically
right.
what the movie is, except let's add mental illness and some weird stuff and
Sounds
some little
like lazy, like
Oh, like Deadpool said, lazy writing.
lazy writing. Sounds like lazy writing to
If
me.
they had done, like, for example, there's a movie, I think it was House of the Devil, that just came a few years ago. It's a B throwback to those old Karen Black kind of, where in
Sure.
the end it's really about a coven that shows up to kind of torture this girl and sacrifice her to Satan. If they had intentionally embraced that B feeling, that throwback thing,
Yeah.
but it was like they were trying to be super, super serious and introduce this effect. So they were
camp would make it a little bit more fun and less. It sounds to me the way you're describing it makes it sound super dreary,
Right?
And
It
just
was.
all atmosphere for the sake of art.
That's exactly what it was, and they added
They're
on
just
these
saying that it's art now. I'm sure.
unrelated elements to increase that atmosphere, but that had nothing to do with the plot. So
That kills it when there's no payoff.
well, in the end, it just got crazy business. In the end, we don't even know what the heck happened.
Right.
In the end, it was like
they
it was
conjured
like
the
nuts.
eighth king of hell, and the kid that the devil took the kid's body, had broken his nose, and he had his nose all wrapped up. You know, if you're the king of hell, wouldn't you just take that thing off your nose and not look stupid? No, he left it on. He left it on. And then the witch floats up at the end. What does the king of hell do? Climbs up a ladder. If you're the king of hell, wouldn't you float too?
No,
like stupid.
you'd fly.
He would fly.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So
many
plot
things like
issues, some plot holes.
Right. Don't,
So the overall plot is basically the grandmother, who has just passed away, was the head witch, and their coven's whole purpose was to raise a boy that would become possessed by this eighth king of hell. And that was that's really what the whole point of the whole movie was, where they were going to kind of drive this kid crazy, so he became psychologically weak, so that then the possession could kind of take place. So that's really what it is. But it was, again, all this just kind of sidelined stuff. I don't know if it was designed to throw you off, or they just put it in for the sake of kind of being there and stuff. And it was just kind of weird moments and stuff. There was a seance, which could have been very, very cool. She was trying to communicate with her dead daughter, and the glass is moving, and the seance is actually working, and the rest of the family's like crying and like wailing, no, and they never talk about it again. They have this moment of connection.
That
she reaches
sucks.
out, and it's as if it had never happened.
Yeah, they
And
never
there's-
addressed it again. Like,
I hate
holy
movies
shit,
like that.
was weird. No, nothing like that.
I
And
really
then
hate movies.
Here's
like
my
that.
all-time
Me
love.
too.
This is my one thing that probably throws me off. So, they do it in almost every horror movie, and they did it about 5 times in this one.
What's up?
So you know, the kid wakes up, and it's pitch black. He has nobody around. There's the eerie, suspenseful movement, and he's shouting out, "Is anybody there?" as he's walking through a pitch black house, walking by, and I'm counting 1 light switch. 2 light switch. Apparently, he has no ability to reach to his left and turn
That's what I'm saying,
any light
lazy
switches
writing.
out. And that's one of my biggest issues. Just when they do that in a movie, in a horror movie, it's kind of
Like you have no sympathy for them. It's like, okay, you kind of deserve what's coming to you, dude.
he's an absolute terror, and he will not turn the light on. So
Yeah.
apparently,
He'll
he's-
bumble through the
Apparently, he's not that scared.
Right.
Because I've been scared of the dark when I was younger, and the first thing I did was run
Yeah.
to the light, is switch as soon as I
Right.
could. Bam! It's on. Okay.
Right.
Now, how can I get to the next room and quickly turn that light switch on without, you know? So you guys did not like this movie. It's apparent.
Soggy pancakes.
Soggy pancakes.
That's the new rating
That's
system.
the lowest of the low.
The
If you're a
lowest of the
soggy
low.
pancakes, that's a 0 star.
So no pizza slices, just soggy pancakes.
I lost the will to live somewhere about the first hour, and I haven't gotten it back yet.
Man,
Oh,
that's
that's
Kinda
so
bummed out.
depressing.
Exactly.
So
He
sorry.
cried in the bathroom.
So I think on the flip, my question would be is like, what is your favorite horror movie all time? Like, what does it for you?
Yeah, if this movie was soggy pancakes, what's your like supreme pizza?
I'd say Deadpool 2 as a horror movie. That was pretty scary. You know,
Deadpool 2.
yeah, there was enemies coming. It was scary. No, not Deadpool 2. What would you say is your scariest movie?
Well, I think I really love psychological horror. That's one of my favorites. And David just turned me on to this movie called Martyrs. And that was so intense and just terrifying psychologically. So I really liked that one.
Martyrs is considered one of the most brutal horror, French torture porn horror movies ever created. It'll leave you emotionally scarred if you watch it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And I thought I could handle it. I was like, oh, I can watch it. I can handle it. And I wish that I wouldn't have watched it. It's
Wow.
Damn.
It really got in my head. It's still there. I can't
Yikes.
unsee it.
Is that why it's your supreme pizza?
Yes.
Because it stuck with you.
Because it's actually horrifying.
And you're
It
still thinking
actually
about it.
horrified me to the core. And part of that is I actually believe those things really do happen in cults
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
amongst different groups in the world. So
Damn.
It would be a brutal movie to review.
Sounds like a job for Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren likes that shit. That's deep, dark.
Yeah, I think I have a copy of it somewhere.
Martyrs.
Yeah, that might be an adventure Lauren needs to take. I don't know.
It's interesting because it's actually a very, very smart and yet somewhat spiritual, brutal, horrible movie to watch. So they combined a few different things. So, but I like a lot of horror done well. I mean, everything from even the Blair Witch I thought did really good with tone.
Man, that movie was so scary when it came out. Yeah,
bundle of sticks.
But I grew up through all there was a time all the torture movies and all the slasher flicks and all that stuff, and they were cool for what they were. The Freddy Krueger series, all that. So
right, yeah, you've got like a million subgenres of horror movies. It's just what is the one movie that pops into your mind first when you think, oh, I'm going to watch a really good scary movie? What would you want to rent from the video store or something that you like, that you've seen, and that would be it. What do you think, Nate?
Dream Warriors. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Absolutely. I love that movie. Welcome to Primetime, bitch. I mean, that's like one of the greatest. Yeah, it's one of the greatest, I love slashers like that,
You like the slasher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Recently, was it The Quiet Place or The Quiet?
Yeah.
A Quiet Place with John Krasinski. They got to walk real silent, like they put sand down.
That was good.
Yeah, it was well done with its tone. I mean, it didn't make a lot of sense or anything like that. That was.
I haven't seen that one yet either.
I intend on getting it.
I liked Get Out. Get Out was very smart. I thought.
You wanted me to see Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, Cabin in the Woods, I thought was really awesome.
Yeah. Our co-host Lauren was just telling us on the last episode, I think it
we
was,
need to watch
that we need to watch it.
Bizarre.
I've seen it, but I really liked it too. It was
actually speaking of that, I'm glad you brought up Cabin in the Woods. The team that did Cabin in the Woods just announced the next movie in their universe.
Oh.
And it's Last Night at the El Capitan, and it's in this Vegas joint, and everybody's trying to rob this place. Because half of the building lies in California and half of it is in Nevada. So you can choose your own adventure, which state you stay in.
Oh, that's kind of deep.
Oh, and then they've got some really crazy stuff that goes on. Jeff Bridges is in it. It looks like it's going to be pretty star-studded.
I haven't heard anything about that movie.
Yeah, I just saw AP shot a trailer to me yesterday.
Oh, okay.
What was the one recently with the split personality? Was it Split? Was that what it was called?
Which movie?
Split.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the movie with the guy had multiple personality disorder.
Oh,
yeah.
Did it just recently come out?
No, it's been a while.
Oh, okay.
That was good.
I haven't seen that one either.
I'm a big M. Night Shyamalan fan.
Shyamalama Ding Dong.
I like because he's a master at tone.
And Mike
the plots may or may not be great, but the tone, he maintains a consistent tone through all it.
That's true.
So that
tone seems to be big with you, David.
Well, you're going to a movie for an emotional effect. You're not going to a horror movie, really. It could be a think piece, but you're really going to experience a variety of emotions. And it can have dread, it can have horror, it can have shock, it can have any of those kind of things and all that stuff. But yeah, the movie we just saw, I don't know. I think they really focus so much on the tone, threw a couple jump scares in there, but I don't know if anybody would be scared watching it.
I feel like I would just be uneased and feel grossed out, like I need to take a shower after I watched it. That's kind of how I feel about those kind of movies, and especially I get really irritated when there's no payoff for me as an audience member, and I feel like that's a reoccurring theme with horror movies, specifically about the devil, like you were talking about. This was about devil worship. It reminded me of all these other devil worship movies that are kind of like that, The Omen,
religious
super
horror.
Anticlimactic if you think about it, because he was going to kill the kid and then he didn't. And you're like, ugh, so he's just going to get away with it. And the last scene is just the kid smiling. And you're like, ew. Or Rosemary's Baby. You're waiting this whole movie, and then the last scene is just her standing in a room with a bunch of old-fashioned Satanists, just looking at her baby. And
well, you could bring with you dry shampoo, and then you don't have to wait to take the shower. You could
just do it in the theater.
Yeah.
Just throw the dry shampoo in your hair and just go to town.
And then you won't have to wait. You could just...
Did she just throw you off your game there?
I got thrown off.
Totally. And we're back. Let's talk about that meal you guys made real quick.
Oh, yeah. Today we decided to make, my mom and I decided to make reconciliation soup. It's this delicious mushroom soup recipe she's had for years. And I wanted to point out how interesting it was that I decided that I wanted this soup because the book that the recipe came in, what was the name of the lady who wrote it?
Isabella Allende.
Isabella Allende, that's right. And she wrote the book, The House of Spirits, which was a really great movie that I liked. Did you end up watching that yet, David? House of Spirits?
Probably. Is that the one?
With Winona Ryder and Jeremy Irons,
He
Meryl
hasn't
Streep.
seen it. Because I've asked you.
Oh,
Okay.
well, I let you guys borrow it. I think you still have it. You should watch that. It's pretty good. But anyway, so she has this cookbook, and we were reading it. I was reading it, and then she was talking about how in her 50th year, she decided to write this. And you're turning 50.
Right.
And I'm so excited for you. And I just thought it was an interesting connection. Like, we haven't gotten this book out in a long time, and you're turning 50 this year, and it was a good time to make this soup. You know?
Yeah, it's a great book. It's a book called Aphrodite, and a lot of the recipes are about awakening the senses, and they have a lot of unique ingredients that are all aphrodisiacs, and apparently truffle oil is an aphrodisiac, and it calls for that. So.
We used white truffle oil today. It was so good. Yeah, that mushroom soup turned out great.
Yeah.
It was a little salty just because we ended up having to put a little beef stock in it.
Yeah.
Had to call an audible on the recipe.
You know what I just realized though? I didn't put any sour cream in mine.
Oh,
did you
I
put
did.
Some? You
Yeah.
did?
Mm-hmm.
Did it make a difference?
Yeah, it cuts the salt, and it also just added that cream.
I forgot the freaking sour cream.
A
I was just
dollop.
dipping bread in it.
You missed your dollop.
A dollop of daisy will do ya.
Dollop of sour cream is one of the greatest Cards Against Humanity cards ever.
Ew, a dollop of sour cream.
That's one of the answers. Have you guys played Cards Against Humanity?
Yes.
I don't
Many
think so.
times.
Whoa, David Lee has not played Cards Against Humanity. That needs to happen next time we get together.
I'd like to get his take on the game.
It would be really fun.
I want to hear.
Do you know about
David's
this
take
game
on
at
this
all?
game.
I may have played it. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay, so there are black cards, and they say like,
Awful things.
Thanks to blank, I lost my blank. And then there are like really ridiculous answers, like Adolf Hitler shoving a pineapple up Adolf Hitler's ass or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Or Helen Keller.
or Helen. Yeah, they're
pretty
you
terrible
know,
cards.
spider crabs clawing the eyes out of Glenn Beck, stuff like that. You know,
Two
like there's
midgets shitting in a bucket or something.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the
Or
answers.
Witch's Coven resurrects the eighth Lord of Hell.
That would be a great
Correct.
card.
Yeah, why haven't Cards Against Humanity done like movie things or like
Because
horror?
of licensing, ultimately.
Well,
That would probably be.
maybe
That
they should
actually,
do horror cards.
was a movie against humanity that we saw.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh, I like
That movie
Nice
was
play on
against
words. That was good. That was good. Sound like a pro.
You can tell I'm bitter about this. I want my.
He's bitter.
I know.
I don't want my $15 back. I want my 2 hours back.
You need to
Want your
tweet
life
the
back?
director and be like, "This was a literal
Uh-huh.
letdown."
I'll give them $15 more if I could have my 2 hours of life back.
I don't think it's going to happen, sweetie.
I'm gonna call them.
You know what you should do is exchange that $15 for a ticket to Infinity War and enjoy
Did you
yourself.
guys see that yet?
No.
Oh man, it's so good.
Nate's
That
all
movie,
about this movie.
because you know what that movie does?
What, Nate?
Pays everything off.
You know, as
Really?
long
You
as,
get the payoff?
As long as
Yes.
nobody dies in it, I'll love it. You know, I'll love it. That's what I'm thinking. So,
Well,
yeah.
let's move on and talk about a different movie. You guys
Sure.
like Deadpool 2, yeah?
Yes.
Deadpool 2 was cool.
I liked it.
I thought I liked the
It was
first one
the
better.
first one I thought was better as well. Yeah.
I thought it was better.
So,
I
first
thought it
one
was
was very original. The second was trying to kind of recapture that first magic. I think.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
although I can't stop thinking about the mini legs.
Oh
the
man,
little
that
dinky
scene is
legs.
so damn
that
funny.
was so awful, wasn't it?
I
The
laughed
basic
so
instinct
hard.
moment. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I had tears streaming down my face. I was laughing so hard at that. And I don't even know why. I didn't want to laugh.
I know,
but I
couldn't
couldn't
want to
stop.
laugh, but it was hilarious.
Yes, it was. It was
See,
so gross
Deadpool
and funny.
is like probably like my mom. If my mom had a comic book spirit animal, it would be Deadpool.
Totally. He
I
breaks the
agree.
rules. He gives no Fs.
Yeah, and he's just ridiculous. He's like a 12-year-old boy, and inside my mother's head lies like a 12-year-old boy.
And unicorns, right? Didn't he write a unicorn?
Unicorns,
Oh, that was
yeah.
in the trailer, not the actual movie.
Yeah, there's unicorns in her head too.
There are several. I can feel them right now.
Do they have names yet?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
No.
So have you guys eaten anything cool other than this soup we made today?
Well, actually, when we went to go see the movie, we stopped at this cool restaurant we've been wanting to stop at. That's a vegan place, and we snuck the food into the theater. So I filled my purse with it, and I had like a seitan.
Was it stinky?
No,
Oh.
I had a curry wrap with cashews, and David got a macaroni and cheese sandwich.
Grilled cheese.
Yes.
Oh,
That's amazing.
yes.
Do you think having seitan and going to see a
Satan.
movie about the devil is a little
that
ironic?
Hell
You're doomed.
King
That
was
might be the
curried.
It's like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
That's
So-
like the most metal thing.
Mhm.
That's like so metal. Are you going to start a death metal band now?
No.
Oh,
No.
If we did, it would be called grilled macaroni and cheese sandwich, not seitan.
Curried Satan.
Yeah,
Curried
because that's
seitan.
already been done. The seitan name, but nobody's ever done grilled macaroni and cheese sandwich.
Well, I do
Devil
love
man.
packing my purse full of food. Normally we do Taco Bell.
Yeah.
This time we did the
Or
vegan.
Chipotle. You like Chipotle.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like about Chipotle?
What
though?
don't you like about Chipotle?
Is
I
the
know you don't
burrito's
like
so
it.
huge.
What?
I want a burrito.
You want a little teeny
a small
tiny
burrito.
burrito?
a mini Rito?
Burritito. It's like my own invention, a very small burrito.
Why? You'll just eat 20 of them.
Aren't they
all right.
called? Aren't those called taquitos?
Yeah,
No.
taquitos.
That's a small taco.
Just get taquitos.
That's a small taco.
Problem solved.
Don't
Not
make
a
him
small
sad.
burrito.
He wants to call it a burritito.
Yeah, like
well,
a
you know
taquito.
what?
Yeah.
I do believe they make super tiny little tortillas, and you can make your own damn mini burritos.
It doesn't. It can be a one burrito or one tortilla.
Yeah, they
just
make
a
the little
small,
tiny ones,
narrow.
and you can just roll your
Right.
own.
And he'll make
Like egg rolls.
The
50.
burrito's like 6 pounds of something.
So you just need like
know?
egg roll sized burritos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be
Mini
happy.
poppers.
Uh huh. I'm gonna
There you
make
go.
them.
It'll be a thing.
That'll be my thing.
All right, David.
Yeah.
How about you, Nate? You eat anything good lately?
Oh my gosh! Well, what we had yesterday was pretty good. We cooked on the grill. Had chicken.
We did, yeah. Barbecue chicken.
I like a basic home cooked, comfort foodie style dinner, and you definitely know how to deliver that. So it was delicious. I mean, mashed potatoes, stellar.
Thanks.
Corn
Thanks,
is great.
thanks.
But that's easy.
We
'cause-
always have like the classic comfort food dinners here and there. It's
oh,
usually
beef stroganoff. Oh my god!
I know. Well, I want to make mushroom stroganoff.
I know you were saying.
You're all about the shroom.
Yeah, I'm all about mushrooms lately. I've been putting them in everything. I've been making like flatbreads with them. Oh my god, that's something I could mention. I
Do,
went to
please
Aldi
do.
and they started selling bags of naan, which is like tandoori bread or whatever.
Yeah, Indian bread.
And
Indian bread.
Nate's a fun guy.
Hmm?
And Nate's a fun guy, so that works out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody ever appreciates that joke. I do though.
I don't even get it.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I bought some naan and made some flatbreads, and they were delicious.
A fun guy.
I
now.
got it. I just got it.
Yeah.
Took me a moment.
She's into
You got it.
shrooms.
You
He's
get
a
it?
fun guy. I thought he was pretty
I
good.
get it. He's a fun guy.
Wow. Yeah, we've been cooking a lot of mushrooms. And yeah, I don't know. I've been making lots of stuff with them.
And cheese, the cheesiest. Lots of cheese today. We had those. What's up with like delicious frozen food?
From
those
Aldi.
poppers
Aldi's
are
been
amazing.
on point lately. I got him some jalapeno cheese poppers.
Do you remember those little shrimps we get? The jumbo.
Oh, the coconut shrimp.
Coconut shrimps with like they have like it's like an orange marmalade glaze.
Yeah, pretty much.
Aldi's delivers.
Aldi's is on point.
What?
No. They just deliver.
they
don't
like
really deliver.
I was like, are they like Peapod now? That's crazy.
Didn't I hear that Aldi's is supposed to be delivering?
I don't know, but David and I got the purple carrot food packages for a while, and those were really good.
Were they?
Okay, what in the world is a purple carrot food
It's like
package?
a food service
Yeah,
that
they
delivers
mail you,
meals
mail
to
you
cook.
all. Yeah, you have to cook it. They mails you all the ingredients already ready to do.
Yeah.
That's so cool,
That's
and they
pretty
were like good ingredients and tasty.
all
Purple carrot.
organic, and it was really fun and easy to cook. You put in your level of cooking experience, and then they send you recipes.
Oh no shit!
Yeah,
That's really cool.
right.
Because you eat things or try things you wouldn't normally do. Plus, you
Yeah.
learn how to make it, and then if you want to repeat it, you can.
Yeah,
Totally.
Oh, you can just like go and say I want to reorder that kind because I really
Yes.
enjoyed that meal. That's
or,
great.
Or you can just do it on your own because it has the recipe card. You could go out and
It
make
gives you the
yourself.
recipe
Yes.
card, so you can just make
Yes.
it yourself
Yeah.
anytime you want.
It'll
That's
give you like a couple garlic cloves
That's
and
so
all the
cool.
different things,
Yeah.
leeks, and you just chop chop it all up and
Oh,
stuff.
I love
Mhm.
leeks.
It's really awesome, but the problem is it's hard to turn on and turn off. So if you get like 3 or 4 meals a week and they're sending it to you, you have to use them within a few days. So
Right, otherwise you keep getting food and more food and more food, and then you
and if you get behind, let's say you get a busy week schedule and you come home and you look and you've got 6 boxes in there.
Oh, man.
It can pile up. So that's the only...
Yeah, you have to be committed to cooking your 3 meals a week or 2 meals a week. You can get whatever you want.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I think that it's really, really cool and helpful for
I do
people
too.
that, don't have a lot of time to shop,
Right.
or have children that they don't want to take to the grocery store because
or
that's
even
awful.
or even have time to plan
The
an
planning.
interesting, different
Right.
meal.
Without
Right.
going on the internet and scrolling for 2 hours, getting
Right.
lost in the rabbit hole of, well, this might taste good.
Yeah, going
Right.
on Pinterest for 4 hours instead of making your dinner.
Yeah,
like
you
me.
have to surrender a little bit and just know you're going to make what they give you. And once you're okay with that, it gets good.
Well, you know what? I really like that idea. Who was that man? David Lynch, the director. David Lynch eats the same meal every single day.
Really?
For that reason.
Because he doesn't want to have to think about it, just like Einstein didn't want to have to think about what suit he wore, so he had all of his clothes were the same thing.
Yep. Yeah.
I like
so
that.
the question is, what's the meal? What does he eat every day?
I don't know.
Huh.
Good
Nate's going to look it up.
So David Lynch is a master of that atmosphere, that energy,
Tone.
that tone.
I was just talking to my stepdad about that the other day. We were talking about David Lynch because my stepdad typically eats about the same things every day. Yeah, he's got a pretty, strict regimen of what he does, and he's in fantastic shape. He takes really good care of himself and whatever. But it's so he literally doesn't have to think about it.
Right.
And he works at a funeral home, so he's very David Lynchian.
He is.
If you really want to go there
listen,
with it,
David, listen
one
to me.
could argue.
Listen to me. He is. My stepdad is one of my favorite characters in my life. If this was Twin Peaks, if my life was a TV show, it would be Twin Peaks, and he would be the king. He'd be the mayor of it.
Yeah.
He'd be mayor of Twin Peaks land.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best possible way.
Right.
Because he's such a character. I love it.
Just don't call him Eraserhead. That would be awkward.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it would.
Nobody wants to be Eraserhead.
No.
The other character you've recently compared him to is American Psycho, or that you've often compared him to.
Not recently.
Let the compliments just keep flowing his way. Right
That's
now.
totally a
You guys better
reverse
stop.
compliment.
That was not. Well, I just meant in that
The perfectionism.
the strict regimen, the routine, the businessman aspect, that mentality, the rational thinking, not the actual psycho.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not the murderer or whatever. He works at a funeral home, though, so I mean,
Job security.
I mean,
You
he's dead. I don't know.
And he
He
doesn't
gets
like
to
Huey
create
Lewis.
his own business.
No, he doesn't like Huey Lewis in the news or Phil Collins, so he couldn't possibly be like Patrick Bateman. But he has a nice business card.
I can't find directly what David Lynch eats. I see quinoa as one of the things, possibly. I
Probably
see
just chicken and
a
quinoa.
damn fine cup of coffee with lots of milk and gobs of sugar.
That's Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And a piece of pie.
And a piece of pie.
There's an article from 2016 that says, watch David Lynch eat a donut for 20 seconds on the Twin Peaks set.
Okay, I would totally watch that. I'm that into it at this point in my life. Ugh, I don't really have anything that I'm into right now other than Twin Peaks.
We just
and-
got you back into Doctor Who.
Did you see The Handmaid's Tale?
No,
Wow.
I didn't watch that.
Depressing.
That's
very,
why.
very good. But
I've been
yeah.
really hyper aware of. And now I'm looking at it with David Lynch eating a donut. I'll watch that later. Send it to me.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Handmaid's Tale.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that yet because I've been trying to curate what I do spend my time watching because I've been trying not to watch a lot of TV and stuff and try to be more present in my life and whatever. But if I were to watch TV, it wouldn't be that. I'm trying not to watch sad stuff.
Didn't Lauren talk about that show?
Yeah, she's into that.
She's into that show.
I think had I not had a baby a few years ago, I would still be into horror movies because I liked all that kind of stuff before I had my son, and now it's just too hard for me to watch. It's like some kind of chemical was tripped in my brain, and I can't handle it anymore.
Maybe it was when you watched The Omen and Rosemary's Baby.
And Children of the Corn.
There you go. Children of the Corn, just something about it. Just kind of.
See, I had a
It's really
baby
all
and then
your
just
fault,
started watching those movies more.
You did, and I remember watching them with you.
I'd
Like
be
Children of the
"Look,
Corn."
Veronica,
She'd show like
watch
the Neighborhood
Veronica."
Children, Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's awesome.
I still remember that.
Well, they begged me.
She was 3. You know, so.
I was 3.
Yeah.
You weren't 3.
I was 3.
And we took you to
3.
see Scream. Remember that? You were in 5th grade.
And you took me to see Jurassic Park at the Crown Theater in 1993. I remember.
Wow.
They're
Great memory.
redoing the Crown.
Yeah.
They just tore off the whole facade, yeah.
I can't wait to see what that's going to be. You said it's going to be like a music venue, theater.
I guess, yeah.
David said they're going to put a balcony up there.
Ooh, I've never been in the place, so I have no idea what my expectations are.
The last time I was at the Crown Theater in Crown Point, there was bats flying above me. The movie went on late. It paused several times and stopped, and they ended up cutting the movie short and gave us all our money back because there was bats.
Oh, wow.
It was weird.
That is a
the
weird
last time
movie
I was
experience.
there. Yeah, I still remember it was that movie I Love You, Man. You remember that Paul Rudd movie?
Yeah.
Jason Segel?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was the last movie
That's
I
a
saw
strange buddy movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little...
Yeah, I'm not from around here, so I've never been, like, the Crown Theater doesn't hold any...
Oh, yeah.
Did the bats
not
make
from
it
around
better?
these parts.
Did it improve the movie?
Well, you know, me personally, of course, I enjoyed that. That made me happy. I thought it was pretty funny.
Was there guano?
No, I didn't see any
Ooh,
guano.
great Ace Ventura reference.
Thank you.
Yes.
Guano.
She's full of them.
I love it. I love that so much.
I'm full of guano.
Yeah, you're both. It's not what I meant, Mom.
Oh, that's the episode title. Full of guano. I don't remember what we said it was going to be earlier. It was something about cheese.
Something about cheese.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's always about cheese, though, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I haven't seen something about Mary. We brought that up yesterday. Never, not
never
once.
seen it?
No, you know what's funny, too? Also, at one point, I did my hair in that guy's kind of hairstyle, and everyone used to make fun of me for that, so I never saw the movie. True story.
That's the reason why you never saw
yeah,
it?
Yeah, true.
Okay, you should never say you wore your hair like the guy in There's Something About Mary.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do it like how apparently he does it in the movie.
No,
just
how
style.
he
It was
did it
style.
in the movie was with a very special hair gel.
Yeah, yes, I'm aware.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Just making sure.
That's why I'm saying that like people would tease me about it, you know,
Yeah.
and that drove me away from actually seeing that movie ever.
Well, you've missed out because it's quite a funny movie. We just found it downstairs when I was, looking through some boxes of movies.
Yeah, totally.
I like when the dad says, "Was it the beans or the
brains or the
brains?"
Brains or the beans.
I think you'd
it
get a
was a
kick
little
out of it.
both.
So you guys have to do that. Do a series on the throwback.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies I've missed. Like, there's a lot of I can't believe I haven't seen those movies.
Yeah, Nate's never seen Willow.
What?
Yeah, true.
Really?
Truth fact statement.
What else haven't you seen that everybody's seen?
He's never seen Star Wars.
Yes, right.
Missed it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like bigger time movies. Okay, well, like there's a lot of Quentin Tarantino stuff I haven't seen. I never saw Hateful Eight.
Kill Bill.
I never saw. Well, I did see Kill Bill
didn't
in
see
Volume
Inglourious
2. I didn't see Inglourious Bastards. I haven't seen
it either. Have you?
That movie was
Django.
We talked about
I didn't see that.
Django was good.
Django was really good. Yeah.
I like Django.
Name some classics.
Some classic movies.
Yeah.
Old Yeller.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's terribly sad, but yes, I've
Where
seen
the
it.
red fern grows.
Sound of Music. Sound of Music. It's kind
Sound of Music.
Oh yeah, I've seen Sound of
technically a horror movie.
Oh,
You know?
kinda.
So
Escape
Perspective.
from Witch Mountain.
Ooh, that movie was definitely a horror movie.
Nope,
Classic.
didn't see it.
Disney.
Babes in Toyland.
Nope.
I like that one. What about like? Have you seen The Godfather?
Willy Wonka. All time favorite.
Okay,
I've seen
yes, I
Willy
saw
Wonka.
Willy Wonka. I love Willy Wonka.
One of the greatest.
Yes, I've seen the first Godfather, but 2 and 3, no dice. Even though I heard 2 is like the greatest. You know, very much like the sequel madness that people talk about. I don't know. I've not seen a lot of movies that. I don't know. It's weird because my dad has like really weird taste in stuff. He sees stuff that like what's that movie? Midnight Run, I think is what it's called, or Jumpin' Jack
Yeah.
Flash.
Midnight Run. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your dad likes a certain type of movie, so you probably missed out on
Kind of like the
some
cop
other ones.
buddy flicks is what you're.
Yeah,
doing.
more like Lethal Weapon and stuff was what my dad was into.
Sure.
Totally. So a lot of the
Two
good
Buddies.
stuff, like Dad has never seen Forrest Gump. I have, but he has not ever seen that movie. We brought that up last time too. Very strange.
I almost suggested us watching it, but when we had brought it up, he was like, "Oh, fuck that movie." And I'm just like, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah, he really doesn't like that
Hey,
movie.
what's it called when you remember something differently than everybody else?
The Mandela effect.
The Mandela
Nate's
effect.
favorite subject to talk about, by the way.
Crazy.
Well, I bring it up because David was asking me about it if I remembered it. We were talking about the Berenstein Bear.
Oh,
Berenstain.
Stain. And I keep saying it wrong. But that was with Forrest Gump. Life is a box of
That's so
chocolates.
funny because we just talked about that very phenomenon on the last episode of Foodies Watching Movies. Even the Forrest Gump reference.
We actually don't remember you talking about that. We remember something different. So.
That's
because that's the Mandela effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, a mass misremembering of alleged facts.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are some crazy theories. I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole of why people believe the Mandela effect
sure you
exists.
have.
Like, well, no, there's like a 12-year-old like super genius who believes that CERN, when they were working on like
you did tell me about this.
the particle accelerator, right? They have that. Well, apparently, when they figured out how to bring like dark matter into our universe and like tangibly figure it out, that they accidentally like split our universe off of its typical like rotation, and we like shifted like reality
We're
essentially.
in another dimension.
Slightly.
Timeline.
Like we're vibrating at a different frequency now, but it's so subtle that you wouldn't notice it, except for in the little minor things that you don't think.
That's a cool theory.
Are you trying to tell us that your guru is a 12-year-old super genius?
He's not my guru. He's not my guru.
I mean, it's a cool guru to have, you know?
He is a guru, but he's not my guru.
You should just quote him, like, on a daily basis.
I should, yeah.
You know, little Pedro says. And just throw it out there.
My guru, my guy.
So.
He's my dude. I don't know, man. We're looking forward to seeing The Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
That's coming out soon. Are you guys interested in seeing that? Did you see the first Incredibles?
I did. Yeah, maybe.
I want to take Oliver to see it. I
Yeah.
think he would like it because he likes the first movie.
Right.
It's a cartoon.
It's based on a true story.
Yeah.
So
they're pretty
That's what I've
incredible.
read.
Yeah, they are incredible.
It's a really
Speaking
big moment
of-
for the women's lib movement in this movie coming out.
Oh, yeah?
Speaking of movies that are based on true stories, did you guys see the trailer for Tag?
No.
Do you know anything about
we
that?
Did. That's where they play tag.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have
The-
that
the
lifetime
friends-
game of
funny.
tag.
That looks
Mhm.
funny.
So
Yeah.
I actually watched a little documentary they did on SportsCenter about that
Mm-hmm.
actual like real life group of friends. And they changed some things for the movie, like there's not a friend that's never been tagged. But they really have like a contract that every February, for the entire month of February, there's one giant game of tag that's literally
That's
going on between their
hilarious.
group of
So
friends.
funny to me.
It is.
They have like legal documents that state 3 rules.
Wow.
Through the 3 rules are it's only in February, no tag backs, and if somebody
No tag back.
correct, and if somebody says, "Are you it?" you have to answer within a reasonable amount of time, honestly.
This sounds like
Okay.
the kind of contract I would have loved to have implemented when I was actually playing tag as a child.
Right.
It's like the perfect rules.
Totally.
Right.
That's funny.
I don't really have any friends, so I couldn't really pull this off.
You'd be playing by
If it's to be
yourself.
tag of one, I'd never be
That's not
surprised.
called tag. That's something else.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
something
terrible.
else.
You know, speaking of food stuff, I wanted to bring this up. International House of Burgers. Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah.
You were so distraught about it until you realized it was just a promotion.
It is. I'm so bummed.
When's
it's
the
only
last time you've
temporary.
been there?
To IHOP?
Probably
Yeah.
like a year ago.
2 years. Well,
2
maybe.
years? When
yeah.
did we go?
You can't get that offended if you haven't been there in 2 years.
I know, right?
You can't be like a super
Like,
fan.
what does he
I'm
care?
so
We never
mad.
go to
I was
IHOP
more.
anyway.
I was more shocked because I thought they were permanently changing their name, and then I'm like reading the article, and it's like this is only temporary to promote their new line of burgers, and I was like, well, what is a crock of shit is that? Like, why are we even doing
Why
it?
are we even talking about this?
And then, well, the reason I brought it up is because all the other food companies started clowning
Yeah.
IHOP. So like Burger King yesterday on their Facebook changed their profile picture to Pancake King.
Yes.
And like I'm trying to think. Chili said they're thinking about changing their name to Pancakes. And like I don't know, it was pretty
Well, as
interesting.
stupid as it is, it's brilliant marketing because we're all talking about it.
Correct.
And we're all-
Absolutely.
yeah.
You're
so
right.
it's kind of funny.
I guess it worked out for them.
It did.
And now I want pancakes.
I
Yeah,
know.
for
Back
real.
to pancakes. It all
Soggy
leads back to
pancakes.
It all leads back to pancakes.
Right? Soggy pancakes?
Yeah, we don't want nasty, wet, soggy pancakes. We want delicious, fluffy.
We want
maple
syrup-soaked and buttery.
Yeah, syrup-soaked pancakes.
Well, you feel like we're good here?
Yeah.
Go ahead and wrap this one up.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on
Thank
our
you.
show
That
and
was
talking
really
to
fun.
us.
No, thank you.
Totally. It's cool to always have different guests on the network appearing and doing different cool things.
Uplifting guests about
Yeah, David,
passionate
you're
about our
so
movie.
uplifting.
I know. Like I said, I lost my will to live. If I come here again, I'll be happier.
Yeah,
Okay.
he wants to see Hereditary too.
You need to go see Solo, maybe. That'll lift your spirits. Right? Maybe? Do you like Star Wars that much?
I think I would like Solo.
I think you would like Solo, David.
I do too. And David's also mentioned that to get his will back, he really wants to see Xanadu too.
Oh my gosh, you have to see Xanadu.
I've seen Xanadu. Of course
Xanadu 2.
Xanadu 2.
That's like Grease 2, right?
We're waiting. We're still hopeful.
But you know what? I did just get a brand new pair of roller skates
I
for my
know,
birthday. So we could
Oh.
just, have David fund us making Xanadu 2. I've got the skates.
Xanadu.
No idea. Another movie I've never seen.
Probably for the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
You
great.
don't like roller disco or Olivia Newton-John, do you?
I don't know. Not particularly, probably.
Then no, you won't like it.
Yeah. But before we get on here, should I go ahead and do the plugs? You
Yeah,
want to
go
do
ahead.
them? All right. Well, as always, folks, you can check out the Journey into Comics network at journeyintocomics.com, where you can find our show, Foodies Watching Movies. You can also go to all the different podcasting platforms, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, or Spotify. Also, I guess there's a new app called like Google Podcast that people can get us on now. So that's another cool thing. Just search Journey into Comics Network. You can get all the shows on our network. Go to our Patreon, give $1. That gives you early access. That's patreon.com/Journey into Comics. Or give $3. You get early access and exclusive content like Brews with Babes and all of our Road to Infinity War shows and whatnot. Veronica, I think that's going to do it.
Brews with Babes is going to be dope, by the way.
I know, you're so
You're going to
excited.
have to be a guest on that one.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that one's going to be a
I
good
like that we just were in a commercial.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's kind of built in, programmed up here. They just, they happen.
All we need is a jingle.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you have a jingle?
Oh, yeah, you were going to do the jingle, right? Because we were planning on taking a little break.
But we changed up the script and we're like almost an hour now. We're doing great.
Next time.
Do
Next
the jingle
time.
anyway.
We'll
But
save
I don't
it.
have a jingle.
Come on, do it.
Well, I don't know. It's Foodies Watching Movies and yeah, yummy, yum, yum.
I loved that. We're going to keep that. Hell yeah.
There it is.
All right.
It's
Well,
a winner. Thank you.
this has been episode 21 of season 2 of Foodies Watching Movies. I'm Nate.
I'm Veronica.
And we will see you guys next time. Eat fearless.